So last night we went to air with a breaking story, and that was the Wests Tigers jersey fiasco. This was their commemorative jersey, planned to wear over the ANZAC period, like most other clubs do. And it was uncovered that the jersey had an image that was not of an Australian soldier or soldiers and non-Australian weaponry. Now, this had some families of diggers and people that have served up in arms. So this became quite the story. The Tigers then, Kenty, issued a statement as we went to air saying it was all ticked off by Holsworthy Army Barracks, and that sort of tamped things down for them. But what has happened today?
Well, a lot's happened, Dan. Obviously, look, it sparked a lot of outrage online yesterday. A lot of old diggers who immediately recognised that the soldiers weren't wearing Australian uniforms and weren't carrying Australian weaponry. The machine guns that they were carrying are actually with the US Marines at the moment. So the Tigers gave us a statement, and this came to us last night just as we're going to air. Now, the important bits to pick out of it was they collaborated with Holsworthy Army Barracks, who cited and approved all collateral relating to the release of the jersey. And then they're very generic in their talking around the jersey, around that. The soldiers on the jersey simply depict the modern-day soldier serving in a desert environment. So they backed away, well away from the ANZAC reference. Now, in previous years, it's always been called the ANZAC jersey. This year, even before this was discovered, it was called the commemorative jerseys. Which sort of indicated to me yesterday when we started to chase this that they'd already become aware that it wasn't a Ridgy-Didge ANZAC image and they couldn't call it an ANZAC jersey. So we put a few calls in through the Australian Defence Force yesterday, as we also did with the Tigers. The Tigers got back to us with this statement. We didn't get any follow-up from the Defence Force in time for the show. So anyway, so what's happened today, the West Tigers this morning have withdrawn the jersey from sale following the outrage and the disrespect that they've shown to the ANZAC tradition. They put out a statement basically saying that they regret any offence that may have caused, never their intention, and they also said that they're obviously going to get a new jersey coming in now, which will properly symbolise the ANZAC tradition. Now, in the meantime, what's happened today is I've spoken to the Defence Force, who have said to us that they were not consulted by the Tigers, as opposed to what the Tigers said yesterday, that they did not supply any images to the Tigers, that they do have images available if they are sought after, but they're not. The Tigers simply went and got a stock image off the internet, designed the jersey themselves and sent it off to Steeden, who printed the jersey up. There's also a suggestion in the statement today in the one yesterday, that it was purchased under licence by our official apparel partner. That's not true. The fact is that it was actually sent to apparel partner Steeden by the Tigers. So they're a little bit slippery with their version of events today.
Well, hang on, what we were thinking of was that this was gross incompetence, right? But their statement yesterday said, Wests Tigers, to repeat what you said, has collaborated with Holsworthy Army Barracks, who have cited and approved all collateral relating to release of the jersey. And you're saying that
we've had confirmation from the Defence Force today in Canberra that did not happen.
You do not lie when you come to this part of society, when you're dealing with the army, when you're dealing with diggers and people that have served. This is very dangerous territory where this is going.
It's dangerous, Dan. I think it's symbolic of a lot of things that's happening at the club as far as their attention to detail and what they believe people should know. And the fact that the version of events, I think they initially got caught out where they didn't realise they had the wrong image on the jersey. They've tried to move away from that to the generic wording of it, to the fact they renamed it a commemorative jersey, the fact that they said it's the soldiers on the jersey simply depict the modern-day soldier in a desert environment. Well, so they didn't try and link it to the ANZAC legend. The diggers are in outrage because it is an ANZAC jersey. It is not it's not Remembrance Day. It's not remembrance of all soldiers. It's the ANZAC legend.
That's right.
It's the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, which is commemorated on that day. So they removed themselves from that. Here's the image we can see here, which we found online, which is actually put together by somebody in Iran, of all places. Yeah. So the Tigers are still not being, I think, totally forthcoming with what happened. I think they've tried to massage and minimise the damage around this. And unfortunately for them, because of the delay in getting things confirmed, it's actually come back to bite them, because the Defence Force has basically shot down, which was basically their last straw of hope, that they had collaborated with Holsworthy Army Barracks, which the Defence Force says they clearly did not.
No matter which way they try to massage or spin it, Kenty, it's an ANZAC insult. And to me, what it underlines is the fact that the Tigers are as bad off the field and in the front office as they are on the field, which is a very sad state of affairs.
Well, look, they've missed on so many levels too, Hoops. This indicates, this is the small problem to the bigger problem. This shows you that, is this the only thing that's gone wrong at the Tigers, or all these other things that they keep spinning out in the media, all their versions of events with the way that the club's performing, the fact that they keep pressing forward all the time about how well the club's doing financially off the field. They've just burned $75,000 on these jerseys here, because $150 a jersey, they've printed 500 of them up, sold 100. I don't have to get your money back if you want that, but I'm sure they'll offer that. But it's just indicative of the club that's just not sitting in reality at the moment. That is just basically conjuring events to suit their version of what they believe is correct. And fans have got a right to sit here and say, you know what, we've had a gutful of continually being misled.
What I don't understand, there's lots of this that I don't understand, but can someone explain to me why John Bateman, an Englishman, fronted the unveiling of this jersey?
For the ANZAC jersey.
For the ANZAC jersey. That for me sums it up. I can get the error that's made with that jersey, but to come out and put, with all due respect to John Bateman, there's a lot of Kiwis, there's a lot of Aussies in that Tigers side. South Sydney wouldn't have an Indigenous jersey and just send Damien Cook.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, the version they put out, Hoops, you spoke to the club today and they gave you their reason why it was John Bateman, was that there was something to do with the fact that it was they thought there was the problem with the CBA.
No, that wasn't the club. That was another conversation that I had separately. But look, getting back to the issue is the Tigers front office at the moment is a complete rabble. You can go to this jumper, you can go to last year. There was a lot of pomp and ceremony about the unveiling of the $75 million Centre of Excellence at Concord. They stuffed up on one of the walls. They had Benji Marshall winning a premiership with St George Illawarra. How does that happen? So to Justin Pascoe's cheer squad with the pom-poms, who always champion the fact that, oh no, in terms of the profit and loss sheet, he's doing a wonderful job, he's not responsible for the football department. Well, surely this falls under his imprimatur. This is the front office. This is the finite detail that a CEO and the CEOs at all the good clubs are across. This doesn't happen on anybody else's watch.
The other thing is too, is that once again they sent the players out today to basically try and explain it away, when it's clearly an administrative problem. Like the chairman and the chief executive, at some point one of them should have come out and just said, look, we're deeply sorry, we made a mistake, and rather than try and just spin a little bit of truth that they probably hope wouldn't be discovered, that they had checked it out with Holsworthy, they sent the players out to give their version of what actually happened there.
And it's interesting you say that, because Justin Pascoe received criticism last year when Tim Sheens fronted after Michael Maguire got axed, and he said, well, it's a football club decision.
Yeah.
And then today they send the players out when he should have been front and centre today.
What's worse here is that the fiasco of the jersey, which is embarrassing, or the fact they appear to have been caught out in a lie, or maybe that's too strong a term, but they've put out a statement which goes against what we're hearing from the ADF.
Well, it puts out a statement that was attempting to minimise their culpability in it. The fact that we checked it out and we didn't know, but we acknowledged the outrage by the diggers. But then you find out, well, actually you didn't check it. You didn't get it checked. So they're massaging the truth. It's like when you find a little 5-year-old kid lies to you and he just admits to what you think he already knows. You know what I mean? He just tells you only so much. That's childish. And at some point the club should have just walked out today and just said, you know what, and still nobody has taken accountability for it at the club. yeah, it's still very hard to find out who actually was the person that put this together, who's the person that ticked it off, who was the last set of eyes that saw it and said, OK, I like it, let's send it to get printed up.
Well, it's been 24 plus hours now. Well, they've had enough time to say something. Last night you could understand, all right, they're scurrying. They put out a hurried statement, but 24 hours on.